So Darren Dreger, who I've got a lot of respect for as a hockey analyst, has been talking trades quite a bit lately. Because, well, it's already that time of the year again where we're midway through the season. Most teams already know whether they're going to be buyers or sellers at the trade deadline. And a couple of days back, Darren Dreger made a bit of an interesting comment about Josh Anderson. So let's rip the band-aids right off this one and see which one I'm talking about. Here we go. Dreger would say, quote, "If Mr. Josh Anderson was made available at the trade deadline, Kent Hughes is going to get at least 10 to 15 calls because general managers are just going to be lining up for Josh Anderson's services." Wow, that's a lot of teams to be kicking the tires on Josh Anderson. Honestly, that one surprised me a little bit, especially when you take into consideration out of term that's left on his contract. I mean, the guy is making $5.5 million right up until the end of the 2026-2027 season. Now, he might be on pace for 20 goals this season, which doesn't actually sound too bad, but his point totals overall are definitely nothing to brag about for a guy making this kind of dough. Just saying, I love the guy, I really do, but even as a big Josh Anderson fan, I sometimes find myself getting frustrated with the guy's lack of consistency. I mean, some games you watch him play, meh, and it looks like he's got it all in his pocket. He's skating hard, he's hitting people, he's driving the net and creating quality scoring chances for himself. And then he goes home and he goes to bed and he wakes up the next day and he morphs into a loaf of bread. It's weird. I mean, I wouldn't say that he disappears as much as a guy like Yoel Armia, who was missing long enough to find himself on the back of a milk carton during 2022. But Anderson does have a tendency to disappear sometimes. But again, if you toss all these negatives to the side and start looking at him from the perspective of a team that's about to head into the playoffs, a team that can throw Josh Anderson into the middle of the lineup somewhere, surround him with quality players, and not necessarily depend on him for the big goals, well, what a good sandpaper type of guy to drag into the playoffs. We've seen it all before because Josh Anderson scored some big goals during the Habs' last playoff run. He was physical out there, and that's exactly what any team interested is going to expect from him if they acquire him. Now, it's also worth pointing out, after staring at Anderson's contract so long, I almost had a bowel movement looking at the term. Well, I also noticed he's got an 8-team no-trade list, and it's still effective right now. But I mean, those 8 teams are most likely greasy teams anyway, you know what I mean? I'm talking Arizona, I'm talking Chicago, Toronto. But any team that could potentially go out of way this year and give Anderson a chance at hoisting the cup, well, you just know he's going to entertain that idea. So really, it all boils down to the offers and Grandmaster Kent Hughes himself. And if, like Dreger mentioned, 10 to 15 teams begin lining up and doing some kind of a bidding war for Josh Anderson, then I can honestly see a scenario where Hughes gets some kind of an offer that he can't resist. And I know it's tough for a lot of fans because he's just such a lovable player. He's big, he's intimidating out there even when he's not scoring goals. But after hearing some of these remarks from guys like Darren Dreger, then this is a trade rumor that could be pretty interesting as we get closer to the trade deadline. I don't think Hughes is going to actively try and move him, but when teams come knocking, he's going to be listening. So let me know how you feel about this one down in the comments section, and if you were the GM of the Montreal Canadiens, what kind of an offer would it take for you to be like, yeah, okay, take him. We got a deal, I'll pack his bags. Let me know all about it. Don't forget to push the like button down a flight of stairs before you leave here. And hey, I'll see you next time.